Cheating is the name of the game, and these are the players.
Okay, kids, everything's okay. Daddy's home.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 on-set affairs. For this list, we're looking at real-life couples who began canoodling, allegedly, on the sets of films and TV shows.
And with such an exquisite set of chains.
Contenders need not be romantically involved in the film itself, just on the set of the production. They must also be married or linked to another person at the time of the affair. Without further ado, here's some juicy gossip.
Hey, you forgot your drink.
I don't want it.
Who's sore now?
I am.
Number 10. Melanie Griffith and Antonio Banderas.
I'm Betty. Betty Kerner.
Our Dutch.
It's really nice to meet you.
Same here, Betty.
This devilish affair first began when the dashing Spaniard spotted the eyes of his on-screen counterpart in the mid-90s.
Love to meet your family.
Already married for 8 years to Annalisa, the two separated after Banderas began a relationship with Melanie Griffith on the set of the rom-com Too Much.
That's so pedantic. I mean romantic.
Meanwhile, Griffith was in her second marriage to Don Johnson.
You married that guy twice?
Both Banderas and Griffith finalized their respective divorces in 1996 and were married in May of that same year in a low-key affair. They subsequently acted as the on-set power couple for years, until their own divorce in 2014.
You know the happiest day of my life?
What?
The day we got divorced.
Number 9. Kristen Stewart and Rupert Sanders.
It's not too late to change your mind.
How could the ever-radiant Bella Swan betray her burning love for sparkly vampires? Getting with the director of her next film may have been a smart move for the then 22-year-old actress, but it certainly was not for Rupert Sanders.
We knew this was going to be tricky, right? I think we did amazing.
Married to a Vogue model with whom he had 2 children, the 41-year-old Sanders was described as praying for his newfound spotlight to be turned off.
And online, fans are outraged.
Oh, I don't understand how she could do this.
Stewart's public apology was the first time she openly acknowledged her relationship with Robert Pattinson, since the two Twilight lovebirds had been trying to be subtle about it. Unlike what was seen in the photos revealing her affair with Sanders.
In a statement, Stewart apologized to, quote, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him. I'm so sorry.
Number 8. Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott.
And I needed some validation. I needed to...
Stop. Within 24 hours into the production of the sci-fi TV movie Mind Over Murder, the former Beverly Hills 90210 star and Canadian actor took romantic matters into their own hands.
When you start a relationship with someone, you don't know the other person they're involved with. You have one story that's painted for you. You painted a pretty accurate portrait of him.
Despite both being married, Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott chose to further their affair by ditching their former spouses for each other less than a year after production was completed.
Nice guy.
Yeah,
Divorced. Couple of kids.
but really nice guy.
Their marriage, which includes 4 kids, took a turn for the worse in 2013, with many a bitter interview following the news of McDermott's second affair. Sometimes people just don't learn.
It's a girl, and she's claiming that she had an affair with Dean in Toronto when he was there.
Number 7. Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe.
You sound Australian.
I am, yeah.
Speaking of speedy divorces, those were the cards all over the table when the gladiator entered Meg Ryan's life at the turn of the century.
What would you call it?
A crush.
Originally married to Dennis Quaid for 10 years, Ryan became enraptured with the sardonic Australian, leading to their on-set affair.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
Upon the breaking news, Quaid filed for a divorce against his wife, leading Ryan to go off into the sunset and be free with Maximus himself.
Just tell me you know how much you mean to me.
Sadly, their newfound love only lasted about 6 months.
So we're even.
No, we'll never be even.
Number 6. Jude Law and Sienna Miller.
God, I love this city.
All right, girls.
Considering Alfie is categorized as both a romantic comedy and a sex comedy, perhaps it was fate that brought Jude Law and Sienna Miller together in 2003. Perhaps not, though.
Maybe it was simply a mutual, desperate desire to have ourselves a merry little Christmas. Whatever the reason, hooking up has never gone more swimmingly.
Either way, while on the set of that film, Law was married and had been married to actress Sadie Frost since 1997, and together they had 3 kids.
If they don't get you one way, they'll get you another.
As a result, Law and Frost were divorced in 2003, which freed Law to become engaged to Miller by the end of 2004. However, things wouldn't be smooth sailing for the couple from then on. Not only did Law admit to sleeping with his children's nanny in a 2005 apology, but the ladies' man also fathered 2 more kids with 2 different women in subsequent years.
My priority is leaning towards wine, women. Well, actually, that's about it. Wine and women.
During this time, Miller had been reportedly seeing Daniel Craig for a brief time, and reunited with Law from 2009 to 2011. But that would be the last word on the couple so far.
Unattached. Free as a bird. I don't depend on nobody.
Number 5, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck.
I thought you wanted to be my bitch.
This is so f***ed up.
Don't worry, box office bombs are just as guilty for giving actors passionate eyes for each other as any other movie.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion.
On the set of the infamous rom-com known as Jolie, Ben Affleck would meet the seductive yet very married J-Lo.
It's turkey time.
Huh?
Gobble, gobble.
In the midst of Lopez's second marriage, Bennifer would supposedly get together, with Lopez divorcing backup dancer Chris Judd in June 2002. Dating for a year and a half, the couple is obviously no longer together, but apparently share mutual admiration for each other.
The penis is like some sort of bizarre sea slug or like a really long toe.
So far, it's the only on-set affair on our list to not have a bitter ending. Number 4, Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart.
I'll be right back.
Give her my love.
I'd give her my own if she had that on.
A 26-year age gap separated these star-crossed lovers in 1944.
I loved him. Wanted to be with him.
The 45-year-old Humphrey Bogart became enticed with the young up-and-coming model/actress, despite his own marriage to stage performer Mayo Metho.
We merely wish to get to the bottom of this affair.
You'll never do it by slapping people around. That's bad luck.
Following their divorce, Bogey and Bacall were married for a long, sustaining relationship that ended when the famous man succumbed to cancer 12 years later. The couple would eventually have a son, Stephen Bogart, whom was named after Bogey's character in To Have and Have Not, the film that brought the two together.
You know, Steve, I wouldn't put it past you.
Years later, it's still one of the greatest Hollywood love stories ever told.
Story of my life. Where do you want me to begin?
I got a pretty fair idea already.
Who told you?
You did?
Number 3, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. One of the most famous couplings of any nature began in the ancient Egyptian era, or so this movie set would have you believe. During the filming of Cleopatra, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor caught eyes for each other both on screen and off.
Are you quite sure what it is you want? So desperately?
I've always been sure.
Following her previous patterns, Taylor began an affair with Burton despite being married to Eddie Fisher, who had his own affair with Taylor while he was married to Debbie Reynolds.
It was almost like everything was too much. We loved each other almost too much. It sounds silly.
Famously spoken of, Taylor dumped Fisher and immediately soaked up the also married Burton. The two are most noted for marrying twice between the 60s and 70s.
Be lonely for me.
But not for very long. I promise.
Number 2, Rachel Weisz and Daniel Craig.
Would you like to talk to my wife?
Quick engagements and divorces are the pride and joy of this list, and here comes one of the slickest. Getting over his ordeal with Sienna Miller and other relationships, Daniel Craig played the on-screen husband to Rachel Weisz in the dark psychological thriller Dream House. But things started getting a little too real when Craig and Weisz broke the bonds of their engagements, Craig to film producer Satsuki Mitchell, and Weisz to famous director Darren Aronofsky to be together.
This guy's just coming and threatening me and my wife. Control.
The new couple was quietly married in June 2011 and have stayed that way ever since. Craig hasn't gone off with a Bond girl quite yet.
You must be furious.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Really? Let me make you feel good, Doctor. Damn it, I love you too.
Stop it. Not working.
I am. I'm working. You're not giving yourself a chance. Don't fight.
Number 1, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
So that's settled then, yeah?
Okay.
Mrs. Smith, you are trying to seduce him. The Titan couple on our list, and one of the most famous celebrity couple nicknames, got together while playing the titular on-screen spy pair of the 2004 action rom-com. In fact, their strong chemistry on set started to seep offstage and into the bedroom. Their quote-unquote falling in love on set caused Brad Pitt to ditch his spouse, Jennifer Aniston, so he could pursue other endeavors and adopt multiple children with Jolie. Brangelina eventually resulted in holy matrimony in 2014, with the couple living up to the film that brought them together, as they literally became Mr. and Mrs.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you as a couple?
8.
Wait. 10 being perfectly happy and 1 being totally miserable, or?
Just respond instinctively.
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
8.
Do you agree with our list?
In any case, it's over.
What's your favorite juicy on-set affair?
I love you.
I love you.
For more adulterous lists published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
I'll see you around, Mr. Bum.